Hey, 23, 24, 25 TV. Hey, 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 23, 24, 25 TV. Mm, mm, mm. Final episode, final episode, final episode, final episode, 23, 24, 25 TV. No music, no music. No music. Hi, everyone. Welcome to 23, 24, 25, a podcast about being slapped in the face by not only 2023, but by the wildly complicated transition that is turning 25. I'm your host, Josca, and this podcast has been all about me inviting my friends to talk about life as baby adults. It's the last episode, and we're talking all about solitude. Now, I want to start off with a journal entry from earlier this year. I brought my journal for people who are watching. They can see on the screen. This is my journal. I'm still not done with this specific book. There's still a lot of empty pages, so I'm still writing. But I'm going to read an entry from July 6, 2023 for you right now, because I think that would be nice as we talk about solitude. Dear Journal, I've been in New York City for almost a week now, and it certainly doesn't feel like it. Time, be it real or not, moves so fast here. I'm reminded of why it was imperative for me to leave here when I did. My anxiety is just showing up differently because I'm not thinking about financially supporting myself all the time. I'm thinking of other things too, like how to reconnect with my community and how to build a new and improved community with people who will value it and value me. Sometimes it's easy to drift off into the idea that I'm just supposed to be a loner. I mean, I love spending time with myself equally, if not more than I love spending time with other people. It's so evident, though, that a consistent, active community is what I yearn for. I think about it more than money, sometimes more than my career. Sure, I have friends I can call on any time, but why have many of my good friends stopped calling on me? Stopped wanting to prioritize a response to me? I've talked myself into thinking that it's selfish to want this of people, and then I've talked myself out of that. A few days ago, I tagged along with Dante to Jeffrey's birthday picnic, and there were a pair of roommates turned besties in attendance. In all fairness, the other way around is definitely tougher. It was still a reminder, though, that anything is possible when it comes to forming and sustaining a close friendship. When I make new friends, the old ones, or ones I've known rather longer, don't just get less effort from me all of a sudden. And that doesn't mean we have to talk every day or even once a week, but I'll surely communicate if I can. I guess I just have to let go more and keep putting myself first. That's what this era is about as I gear up to visit LA. Putting myself first and taking risks. I have a past of doing more for people than they do for me. And I think it's time to truly not care if I match someone else's effort towards me. I got work to do. The rest of the year is going to be a whole new world of possibility and opportunity, and I welcome it with open arms. Josca. Wow, I haven't read this journal entry before, just to read it. Sometimes I go back in my journal and read certain entries, and that was strangely like the perfect entry to read for the Solitude episode, which I haven't even read a journal entry for any of these episodes, so I think this is a really cool way to be different today. But this journal entry in particular, I talked a little bit about sometimes it's easy to drift off into the idea that I'm just supposed to be a loner. I wonder why I said that at that time. I feel a little differently now. Ooh, I love looking back into the past and realizing I don't see things the same way anymore. And this was just in July and it's December now. So wow, that's so interesting. I think it's the fact that I grew up having a lot of alone time. Even though I had a lot of siblings, I have 4 siblings, and sometimes other kids lived with us, I got very used to finding those pockets of being alone, probably because it was out of necessity. It was out of the fact that there's so much time to be spending together with all these other kids. I just wanted to take a break and do something that I wanted to do. I also had this thing about everyone being put in the same extracurriculars as me, or me being put in the same extracurriculars as everybody else. It was convenient because we only had one car for most of my childhood, and we could all be driven off to our extracurriculars together. But I really wanted something for myself. I really wanted something that I could say, this is what I like to do. My brothers don't do it. My sister doesn't do it. This is something that I love to do. And I think I was feeling a little bit selfish for feeling that way. But I just wanted something with no distractions, I guess. I saw those. I'm like, I saw y'all little niggas all the time. I just wanted something for myself. So there were times in homeschool where my siblings who weren't being homeschooled were out of the house and I could get some alone time, and that was different. That was something that I really, really cherished. And I could just remember myself now in my room, like sometimes I would sit on the floor beside the bed and look out the window and really just lay back and breathe, listen to music. Just, I used to play with these little voice recorders, which is funny right now that I'm making a podcast because it feels like coming full circle, definitely. And I'm just like, wow, we've come so far and we feel so similarly. It's interesting how the inner child comes out and yearns for something that we used to have more. We want again. Maybe it'll help. Maybe we got lost in the sauce somewhere, and this will help us get back to a place of stability. And I talked a lot about financial support in this journal entry. And I got to a place where I'm just like, it sucks that we need money to survive. It sucks that we pay taxes and nothing's really free. Like, what? School should be free without us paying taxes. Libraries should be free without us paying taxes. We need free transportation. We need free health care. I'm sitting here like, it gets so frustrating to me sometimes to have to care about money in any way. I do it because I have to, but I notice that some people around me really care about money. And even journal entries before this, I'm always saying, it can be me in the world. I really don't care. If it wasn't a necessity, I would not even give it a second thought. I don't care about being rich. I don't care about having vacation homes and all this stuff. I'll just go on vacation. I feel like when I even get a place to live, I'll be doing house exchange. If I want to go somewhere, I'll say, who wants to stay at my place? Who owns a place in Paris? Like, let's swap. I've always been of the mindset that I can figure it out even without money. I've done some of the coolest things for free. And that's kind of what I'm known for, to be honest. A lot of my friends kind of know me for, they're going to be like, no, but I have a small reputation of being able to figure out how to do cool things without having to give much of my resources towards it. And I think anybody can do that. If you didn't want to care about money as much, I don't think you really have to. Honestly, there are ways around it in a lot of respects. And then just gathering what you do have, or if you're not pouring into a lot of other stuff that you were pouring into before, gathering what you have left into really, really, really necessary things that need your money and need your support and emergencies. But anyway, this was so interesting to me. I'm like saying that so many times. Interesting is starting to lose meaning, huh? But I love going back and looking at how far I've come. Another thing that inspired me to make this podcast was actually just like reconnecting with family members in my solitude time, because I think when I get into a place where I'm spending time by myself, I start just trying to figure out, okay, what needs to be done? It gets very productive after I relax and after I get into my self-care. After I get into my self-care, sometimes I'll watch a movie with myself, which is very fun. I like to talk a lot while movies are going on. I'll do a face mask. I might do my hair. Ooh, doing my hair is so fun. Doing my hair and my makeup for fun, that's one of my top alone time solitude activities. That's just like, so satisfying. And cooking. Let's not forget cooking, because I didn't include that in my top 5, but it's something that I really, really love to do. I love to cook because I love seeing something start from nothing and then get a final product that is just glorious. you know, especially because I be cooking some food that tastes good. And that's an amazing thing. But it just reminds me of how I used to like really be into math, especially in high school, and it was so satisfying when I would solve an equation. I was like, I really did that. I really started from this like equation that had no solution in sight, and I really worked it out to get a final product. It's just so amazing. It's just so satisfying. I'm all about getting into my satisfying stuff, but yeah, I really value my time alone. And what I was saying before my mind went all ADHD and I started talking about something else, was that I really connect with family members when I'm alone too. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I should call such and such. And another reason actually that I started this podcast was because I was telling a family member that I had recently went back in my journal and read an entry. And I was a little disappointed about what the entry said compared to where I was in my life. It was about a year ago to the date, and I was just like, uh, I I want to be somewhere else a year from today, and I'm gonna be this, and I'm gonna be that, and I'm gonna be that. And reading that a year later, and figuring out and noticing that, oh, I'm not any of these things that I said I wanted to be. First of all, a year is a very short amount of time. Let's start there. Second of all, I was just like, oh, you know what? Something that my family member told me that I wasn't keeping in mind was that a lot of things have changed. The learning experiences that I like to talk about, you're further ahead now than you were back then. Back then, you had experienced some things for the first time and were going through learning phases for the first time that now you won't have to do for the first time ever again. And that made me be like, okay, whew. That was a sense of relief because I'm like, okay, I need to rest assured that if anything, I've grown. I don't have to have certain monetary amount in my pocket or a certain job or a certain amount of stamps on my passport to have grown in a year's time. I'm going to grow no matter what. And I'm going to have these experiences no matter what. I'm going to make money no matter what. I'm going to be enjoying my alone time no matter what. No matter if I have what I said I had a year ago or not. So that was really, really impactful. I want to ask myself a question to close out because this is a really short, just final episode to say thank you also for everyone who's watched, and let me know if you've watched all the episodes. There might be something in store for you loyal fans. No, let me just. But no, I have to get used to being like, I really led something and I really created something. And with all the help that I've received, I couldn't be more grateful. Like, I'm just so grateful for everybody who's watched, everybody who's helped out in any sort of way. It takes a village, not just to raise a child, but I guess this is kind of like raising a child, making a project like this. I thought this was going to be easier than doing a short film. That was one of my thoughts to get excited about. I'm like, oh, this is so easy to get together because I can do most of this without a big team. But it was still very hard work. And I'm just thankful for the people who were there when I realized, oh, this is going to be harder than I thought, especially because I want it to be good. I want it to be great. And I want people to really want to watch. So I'm just always going to thank you all. All right. Let me ask myself a question about solitude to go ahead and close us out really quickly. And the question I'm going to pick is, do you see a difference between being alone and feeling lonely? And how do you navigate these feelings? Of course, I see a difference in being alone and being lonely. I have felt both this past year. Being alone, I really take advantage of the time when I'm alone. It feels like a gift. It feels like a privilege. It feels like an honor. And there's a lot that I can do with myself when I'm alone because I think I'm a fun hang. I'm a fun hang even for myself. I am really good at entertaining myself, and I will do just that, or I'll be sleeping. Because rest is so important, and I will scream it to the mountaintops. Rest. Live a life where you're not just like working all the time and that's your life, or in school all the time and all you think about is school. If you're going to be in school, take some moments for deliberate rest. You just have to. You just have to, honestly, to stay sane. And it's hard. It can be hard. And it's sad that it's hard, but you just have to do it and not feel shame about it. We need rest. We've literally lost the plot. We're in such a capitalistic society in America that it's go, 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 go. And that's one of the main reasons I left New York. I was so fed up about that. I was just like, I need to relax. I need to let go. And yeah, so that is something that I really appreciate, having that alone time to rest. Also, I'm a light sleeper. For the sleep part, I'm a light sleeper, and it's really nice being alone and getting some sleep, because ain't nothing can wake me up when I'm alone and I'm asleep. Ooh, sleeping for a day straight. I will not feel any sort of shame laying in bed for a day. Especially if I haven't done it in a while. Especially if it's been more than 2 weeks since I've done that. No shame. I'm just going to lay in bed and I'm going to get some sleep. But being lonely, that's different. I have felt loneliness mostly in perspective. I felt that I saw the world a certain way and family didn't understand, or people didn't understand, or I felt like I didn't know how to explain this, and I felt lonely in my perspective and just wanting some comfort. Those are most of the times I felt lonely, and I felt like, well, especially for how hard life is now that the world is the way it is and everything's so expensive. Talking to my parents about certain things, they had their own struggles when they were in their 20s. But I mean, my mom had an apartment for $230 a month or whatever it was when she was my age, and a nice apartment too. So it's like, it's different. It feels like sometimes I have to do a lot to talk to certain people about my perspective and what it feels to be going through what I'm going through, and what it feels to be 25 right now, and what it feels to experience solitude and make the time matter when you get those moments to be with yourself. But yes, feeling lonely is no easy thing. And figuring out by yourself is no easy thing. And a part of making a podcast, or a part of getting together with your friends, or a part of getting to know new people is just so you don't have to really figure it out by yourself. And that's a blessing. Because we don't always have to feel lonely. There's a way around it. And solitude is always better than loneliness. And that's where I'm going to put a pin in it. I hope you all enjoyed this entire podcast series. I am extremely grateful for you. And I'm about to turn off this recording and start crying in the best way. And probably go get some alone time. You know, I've been binge watching Shameless. I'm going to go grocery shopping, go get my little to-do list out of the way, and just grab my heart in thanks. I can't stop smiling. I am sad that this is my last recording to do, but who knows? Perhaps I'll be back soon. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can come back and listen to these recordings whenever you see fit, whenever you need that little bolster of communication and community. Just give us a listen. Just give us a watch. Thank you so much again for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you all soon.
232425 is a podcast produced and hosted by Josca. Graphic design by Josca. Executive producer, director of photography, and editor, Dante Charles Critchlow. Music by Fadal Moore. A special thanks to Anthony and Celintia Moore, Constance Moore, and Harold Hickson for their contributions to production. And a special thanks to viewers like you who create the community of my wildest dreams. Thank you.
232425 TV.